CBS presents this program in color.
All right! Welcome back to As It Should Be. Paul Bertolino here in the world-famous As It Should Be studios.
Yes.
That's us.
Guess what?
Here.
Mr. Durant is also here in the world-famous As It Should Be
Yes,
studios.
I am.
And watch out! Look out!
Look out!
Because Tommy Von Voigt
Was
at one
He's
point...
here in the world-famous As It Should Be studios. That was the old Von Voigt fake out right there.
Yeah.
That was a
He flaked out! He really had to flake out!
Yes! Come on!
We're not here to discuss our favorite Scorpions albums, although at one point we might just be doing that.
Uh-oh.
We're here to start a new series, a new mini-series, as Tommy has dubbed it. Mm-hmm. We're going to discuss our favorite TV themes. We're doing it by decade. Today we're doing the 60s.
Yes.
Next week we're going to do the 70s, 80s, through the 90s, and then we're going to do cartoons. I guess we should get started. I believe
do it.
you start this.
I think I am. I think I'm about to be starting something.
Yeah.
Okay.
You want to be?
So, I do want to be, actually.
Okay.
So, my top 10 favorite TV themes from the 60s. My number 10, a show that ran from, and I also listed when the show ran. So
Like
I'm going to add that as
from when to
context,
when?
from when to when.
Oh,
yeah.
I did not do this.
I did
No
that.
runners-up?
No runners-up.
Oh, okay.
No runners-up.
All right.
Trying to keep it tight.
All right.
Lean and mean.
Okay.
My number 10, a show that ran from 1964 to 1966. We've got the theme from the Munsters.
You cannot go wrong.
You cannot go wrong. I'm really into surf music, and this is surf adjacent.
Oh, yeah.
You know,
More than adjacent.
So
It's like rubbing shoulders.
Yeah,
with it.
yeah, pretty much. Yeah,
They're holding hands.
they are. Yeah,
Yeah.
I think they've
dating.
gone beyond just like.
Yeah.
One kind of met the
Like
other in
there's
the
strong
restroom.
feelings.
Yeah.
It's a thing. Yeah,
Yeah.
It's damn. That is dirty.
Yeah.
Dirty.
Sorry.
My number 9, from a show that ran from 1966 to 1973, and I will take this moment to pause and point out that, obviously, TV shows did not necessarily start and end within a given decade. You have some that bleed over into the next decade, some of them just are evenly on both. Some of them might start in the last year of a decade and then go into the next decade in which case it's like, wow, that's clearly going to be associated with the following decade.
Yeah.
We had to kind of come up with like how we were going to classify where to put these in which decade, and some of them were obvious and some of them were like, kind of going away.
Some hazy ones.
Yeah.
Some hazy ones for sure. It's a lot. We kind of had that with singles, but this is way more complicated
Yes,
than
it
that.
definitely is.
Yeah.
But this one from 1966 to 1973, so I associate the show with the 60s, and that is the theme from Mission Impossible.
Of course.
Yes.
Yeah.
That one could go in either decade. So whichever one you have it in, you're not wrong.
Yeah.
Fine. Yeah.
Yeah.
My number 8, from 1963 to 1966, we have the theme from the Patty Duke Show.
Oh wow.
I love that song.
That's great.
It's adorable.
You know, I really love the Patty Duke show.
Yeah.
I don't love the theme that much.
Oh, it's so cute.
I don't dislike
like
it. It's not a favorite. It's not on my list. I'll say that.
What a crazy pair. That's Tommy all over.
Yeah. That's Tommy
It
Core.
really is.
Tommy
it is,
TV Core.
It's 60s, early 60s Tommy Core.
Core.
Yeah. All right, so number 7. God, you know, this is such a deeply silly theme, but it just, I don't know, maybe because I watched this show when I was a kid on reruns, clearly on reruns, but I just love it. It's such a sweet, sappy thing. From 1964 to 1967, the theme from Flipper.
I used to watch that as a kid a lot too when it was on reruns.
Yes.
So that was still playing when you were a kid.
Yeah. I couldn't tell you what channel it was on,
Yeah.
but I definitely watched it when I was a kid.
Yeah, I saw it when I was a kid, and
Wow.
Yeah, it's such a sweet. It's sweet and sappy,
It's
but it's
beautiful.
nice. You know, it's really sweet.
Smarter than he.
Yeah, it's
It's a dolphin.
cool.
They're cute.
All right, my number 6, from 1959 to 1964, the theme from the Twilight Zone.
Yes.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
incredibly short, but damn, does it get the
It's
job
great.
done.
Oh, yeah.
That is the most gets the job done.
Yeah, it's like this is only as long as it needs to be, and it knows what it needed to do.
Yeah.
Boom, in and out.
Yep. My number 5, I've got some Paul Core coming your way.
Oh shit.
From 1968 to 1970, we've got the theme from the Banana Splits.
Ah.
La la la. Yeah.
That is some legit Paul core.
Yep.
Yes.
You got Fleagle, Bingo, Drooper, and Snort.
And Snorky.
Yeah. Love it. All right.
What a crazy ass show that was.
Yeah, really. This is such a batshit weird show.
Well, you know, I would almost argue that particular theme is almost more Tommy Core than me.
It's very Tommy Core.
The
Yeah,
Banana
it's Tommy
Splits are
Core,
Paul
yeah.
Core, but that theme
Oh,
song
that song is
screams
Tommy Core all over,
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, what about, okay, there's a song from that show that might be more Paul Core. I Enjoy Being a Boy. You know that one?
Yes, I
Paul
do
Core.
love it. I have the Banana Splits
Paul
album
Core.
here, actually, somewhere, and yeah, I like their songs.
All right, so my number 4, a show that ran from 1964 to 1972. We have the theme from Bewitched.
Love.
Yes. Yep.
Yeah.
And then my number 3, a show that ran from 1966 to 1968. Paul already knows what this is. Obviously, Hey Hey We're the Monkeys.
Yeah.
I mean,
you know.
Come on.
yeah. I mean, that's a TV theme that's so good, it really just could have been some band's hit single.
You could almost been like a band's opening track. in the first
Honestly,
album.
it could have been, yeah.
Almost.
Yeah.
Almost. My number 2. Now, we already teased that we are going to be getting around to doing a whole episode that's just cartoon themes. We came to that decision after we had made our lists.
Yeah.
Which is why my number 2 is what it is.
I texted them at like 2 a.m. like last night.
It might have been last night or something
Yeah.
insane. And I was like, I guess I could do it. I've only got one. And Crystal's like, it's half my list. What the fuck are you doing, dude?
Yeah, let's just do it.
So we just left ours in, but there's going to be so much more cartoon stuff to talk about when we get to that episode. This is not going to be detrimental.
Yeah.
So my number 2 is from 1962 to 1963. Sadly, only ran for one season. The theme from the Jetsons.
Oh, the Jetsons only was one season?
Wow.
Criminally short.
I didn't realize
They did
that.
start making new episodes
In the
apparently
80s,
in the
they did.
80s. They
Yeah.
did, and it ran in syndication for like forever.
Yeah.
So I was watching it at any given moment during my entire childhood. The Jetsons were on one channel or another.
Yeah.
So I'm sure I've seen every episode. There aren't that many, but yeah, they didn't run that long.
The Jetsons were sort of the Boo Berry to the Flintstones' Count Chocula.
Yeah, in
Or
that the Jetsons were better,
Blueberry.
Yeah.
and that the Jetsons were clearly better than Count Chocula.
Oh, hey.
Fuck out of here with your chocolate cereal.
Hey.
Frankenberry or Boo Berry?
No.
I like
Count
Boo Berry. I
Chocula.
liked Boo Berry.
Fruit Brute, motherfuckers. What?
I never had Fruit Brute.
Fruit Brute.
I never had
Fruit
it.
Brute was
You know
okay.
what? You know what?
Count Chocula all the way, dude.
Yummy Mummy, shutting this shit down. Okay, moving on.
I never had Yummy Mummy.
It was good.
Yeah, Yummy
I
Mummy,
missed out.
Yummy Mummy and Fruit Brute are the forgotten two.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, bro.
Yeah, I never had those.
They
Yeah.
have a new one that's never mind. Go ahead, Tommy.
Well, they're not as good.
We'll do a series where we rank our favorite cereals.
Cereals, yeah.
Yeah, our
It's
favorite
gonna be a
monster
series by
cereals.
decade.
Yeah. I would do that episode. Anyway.
I would do it too.
Cereals? Yes, I would do a cereals
Completely,
episode,
yeah.
My number 1, though, a show that ran from 1959 to 1973. The theme from Bonanza. I love the theme from Bonanza. I love the theme from Bonanza so much. Every time I'm working on an older Fender, like a nice, like a really pretty clean amp.
You hear it?
No,
Or
what I
you
do
play
is
it?
that's the theme. I test the amp out when I'm done with all my
you play it,
repairs.
you play it.
I play the theme from Bonanza to test, to make sure the clean sounds good and the reverb tank is working as
Right.
it should. I play the theme from Bonanza through.
You could do that with the Monsters theme.
I do that also. I use
Yeah.
the Monsters theme.
Yeah.
I test clean amps when I repair clean amps with the Monsters theme and Bonanza and Pipeline.
Yeah.
Wow.
But yeah, I love the theme for
That
Bonanza.
Bonanza
It's just
theme has a
great
really
theme.
hard hook.
Oh, it fucking goes hard.
I mean, damn the lamb.
I mean, that thing's not fucking around.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good.
So,
All right.
that's mine. That's my list.
That is your list.
Yeah.
Good list. I like
Well,
that
let's
list.
see.
I thought you would pretend that list,
That's a
Brendo.
good list.
All right.
I made that list for you.
That's good for me.
It's all for you. He's resorting to shushing.
I'm resorting to shushing.
I love it.
That's it.
This is how far we push this man.
Okay.
Off the rails. Off the rails.
We have commercials, I think. I hope.
Gee, this is fun. It's nice to be able to relax and not have to worry about doing the show. Club.
Well, they keep bothering us about publicity on the show. I mean, what the heck? I think everybody knows we're on. Two Hearts.
Yeah, show business, that's fine, but it's fun to just sit and relax for a change. Play cards, three spades.
Publicity's good, but We're not only performers on the Dick Van Dyke Show, we're also people. For no Trump. I mean, we do have other interests, like pass.
Pass. You know, most people think that actors don't talk about anything else.
Lay your cards down, Dick.
You know, when I'm away from the studio, I don't even think about the show. No. Well, anyway, it's on most of these CBS television stations on Wednesday night.
Some things work well enough without any magic on my part. Take the Chevy 2 Nova. No tricks, just reliability in a handy size. Take this four-door sedan. So trim and practical. Nova is a real no-nonsense car. Doors open wide for easy ins and outs. Sturdy body by Fisher, surprisingly roomy. No tricks, just Chevy 2. Discover the difference at your Chevrolet dealer.
Bewitched has been brought to you by Chevrolet. In behalf of Chevrolet dealers, with the #1 buys on the #1 cars.
ABC, where we'll be seeing you every Friday night.
Join us, the Addams Family.
Okay, so Crystal, you got a list?
I got a list of 1960 TV show themes. Oh, shit. All right, I got some runners-up.
I bet.
I do.
So do I, but I only have two.
Yeah, so I Dream of Jeannie is one of them, including the animation, which was like, what?
I think the animation's so cool.
That's what I mean. It was kind of groundbreaking in a way.
Yeah.
And to have her so overtly sexy, even though her belly button had to be covered the entire time. Insanity. And the Banana Splits, they're on my list. Then I've got Mannix, the theme to Mannix by Lalo Schifrin. That show meant so much to me because it meant so much to my mother because of Peggy, who was his secretary, this black woman, who was super smart and completely in on it and plugged in, and he was this sort of renegade detective. The beginning of that era where he wasn't like in a uniform, or he was wearing a suit and really hot suits, but he was sort of like under the radar-ish. Like he would do kooky things that he shouldn't have been doing. And more to that point, one episode where he was looking for a missing college co-ed, and he wandered in some bar where the college kids were hanging out, and the Buffalo Springfield was the band in that bar.
Sure.
I knew you would know that. Yeah, like it was pretty hippin' with it. Yeah. But it's a really, really great theme. I love that theme. And then my other runners up is the theme from Hogan's Heroes, which is one of the best marches ever. And when I was in 4th grade and in the band, that was one of the first songs we had to learn.
Oh, sure, yeah.
The theme to Hogan's Heroes.
To this day, they probably have kids in school bands playing
in 1974, yeah. And doodle-doodle, because I played flute then, and piccolo, so it meant a lot to me. Composed by Jay Fielding. He added lyrics to it because there was an album that came out called Hogan's Heroes Sing the Best of World War II. No Corral.
No
It was
Corral.
about Nazis, not black people. But he also wrote Oscar-nominated scores for The Wild Bunch and Straw Dogs by Sam Peckinpah. So now here's my list. Here's my list. Coming in at number 10. It is the theme to the cartoon called Top Cat, which came out in 1961.
Top Cat.
yeah.
And I think that was my first introduction to Broadway jazzy as a TV show theme, and then for a cartoon. And it wasn't very explicit that this cartoon was more for adults than kids, like the way the Flintstones was basically the animated version of the Honeymooners.
Yeah.
So this was directed toward kids, and it was... So Top Cat was this cat who had a gang that he hung out with in Manhattan in New York City. And it was basically a animated version of the Phil Silvers Show. And if you go back and listen to this cartoon, the guy who plays Top Cat is doing a Phil Silvers imitation, flat out.
Yeah.
And on the Phil Silver show, he was a fast-talking con man, basically, and was always like, robbing Peter to pay Paul while he was in the army. It's a very weird show, Phil Silver show, but this is the animated version of it. So they were shooting pool, they were shooting dice. This is a cartoon
shooting
for
heroin.
kids.
Shooting heroin, all
shooting
kinds
smack,
of things.
all that kind of stuff. So, and the lyrics are very simple. It's intellectual but goofy at the same time. And I would sing it, but I'll save time. Coming in at number 9, it is the theme to Hawaii Five-0, which came out in 1968. Boom, 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 boom. I mean, you know it.
Muppet
So, it was...
That gets a Muppet nod from me.
It was composed by Morton Stevens, and it became more popular when the Ventures covered it. But it wasn't the Ventures who covered it. It was really the Wrecking Crew who did it.
Oh, yeah.
And for some reason, they put it out as the Ventures. But you know it. Ba-ba-ba-ba. That's it. That's all you need to know. Coming in at number 8, I have the theme to Star Trek, which came out in 1966. The original title was called Where No Man Has Gone Before. And it's an instrumental musical piece composed by Alexander Courage for the show. It's got theremin in it. It's got strings. It's got woo, the woman singing. It's space age. It's 1968. I mean, moon, whatever. Yeah. So the theme was changed through the years, but that's the OG theme. Yeah. Coming in at number 7, the theme to the Monkees.
Yeah.
Hey, hey, we're the Monkees. Coming in at number 6, I got the theme to Underdog.
Oh, wow.
1964.
Underdog.
Yeah. So that came out the year before I was born, but it ran while I was a little kid. And so I distinctly remember my mother being pregnant with my sister. And I would come home from nursery school and watch that in the afternoon and eat my peanut butter jelly sandwich with the crust cut off. So it was written by Chester Stover, W. Watts Biggers, Treadwell Covington, and Joseph Harris. And that has very famous lyrics. You know that, the lyrics to this, right?
Not off the top of my head.
Did you ever watch that show?
Did you ever watch it?
No.
So the beginning is like, there's no need to fear, underdog is here.
I mean, I know that.
When criminals in this world appear and break the laws that they should fear and frighten all who hears or who sees or hear, the cry goes up for far and near for underdog, underdog, underdog. Speed of lightning, roar of thunder, fighting all who rob or plunder, underdog.
I know the song.
Yeah. Fantastic. Coming in at number 5, I have the theme to Batman.
Who knows that one?
How can you not
Nobody
have
knows that one.
1966. Sung by a chorus of 4 tenors and 4 sopranos, performed by the Ron Hicklin Singers. No chorale. A lot of people think that the chorus was done by a horn section, but no, that was people singing that. And, you know it. I don't have to talk anymore about that. Coming in at number 4, the theme to Mission Impossible, which came out in 1966, composed by Lalo Schifrin, written in a 5/4 time signature, which he jokingly explained as being for mutant people with 5 legs. I don't know why he said that, but that's what he said.
He spoke with 5 lids?
Legs.
Oh, I thought he said 5 lids. So I was like, maybe he's a stoner.
5 legs. And the Morse code for Mission Impossible for MI is dashes, 2 dashes followed by 2 dots. And the dot is 1 beat, the dash is 1.5 beats. Then this is the beginning of the first 5 beats of the thing.
Huh.
So he went in deep with that. He consciously used the Morse code as a starting point for the composition. Yeah. So his working title was called Burning Fuse. Coming in at number 3, I have the theme to Dark Shadows. Now, this show, again, this came out in 1969. So I was 4. My sister was a year old. And my mom's sewing room turned into my sister's bedroom. And my mother loved Dark Shadows. So I have a very distinct memory of every afternoon. It was either 2 or 3 o'clock. I was at home. My sister's a baby. My mom is in her new sewing room in the basement, but had it on the TV, and the beginning scared the shit out of me. So I would actually hide and listen to it in the closet while it was playing, and then I'd come out when it was over. It was called Quentin's theme, Shadows in the Night. And it was Grammy nominated, a top 10 single. Recorded of theme music by Robert Colbert and Charles Randolph Green, narration by actor David Selby. And again, it's like kooky, weird, spooky, theremin-y, all kinds of crazy shit. It's one of the best, weirdest soap operas ever in television history, because it was a soap opera.
I've never watched that show.
Oh my god.
I mean, I remember it, but I just never watched an episode.
It's so crazy, because this vampires are running around talking to... It's a whole family in this castle, and it's a soap opera. It really is a soap opera. It's very good. It reached number 18 on the Billboard album charts in 1969. How about that? Coming in at number 2, and this was rough, but I almost made it number 1, but it's number 2, and it is the theme to the original Spider-Man, 1967.
Oh.
This thing swings so fucking hard. It is like ba 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 ba. I mean, it's jazz, boom, right in the face, right off the beginning. Spider-Man, you know it. So this was composed by Paul Francis Webster and Bob Harris. It was recorded at RCA Studios in Toronto, where the cartoon was actually produced. In Canada, not here. And it featured 12 vocalists, members of the Billy Van Singers and Laurie Bauer Singers groups, who added the backing track. And the singers were only paid for the session as normal. I don't know why do people think that studio musicians and session people get points and publishing? They don't. You're a freelancer. You come in for a job and you do it, you get paid, and you walk out. That's the end of that. And this song is just as synonymous as the original red and blue costume. I love this.
And then there's the Ramones version.
Yes, the Ramones did a cover. It's been covered by so many people, but it's so great. But my number 1 theme song for this decade is Sesame Street. Came out in 1969.
Oh shit!
Can you tell me how to get to Sesame Street? Made by Children's Television Workshop, you know. It is the theme. It's been the theme since the first episode, November 10th, 1969. It's been the title song in every episode, every single episode. Composed by Joe Raposo, famous composer, who wound up doing other stuff, and Michael Davis. And it's super simple, but it's one of the best earworms ever. And I don't care who you are, it's going to make you smile when you sing it. I mean, even Oscar the Grouch smiles when he sings that song.
Yeah.
It's so good. It's
like distinctly early 70s, late 60s, early 70s pop. It has that bounce.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And
tracks have.
Toots Thielman played the harmonica in it. I mean, legend. So yeah, and the choir of kids and adults and opening and closing themes. Fantastic. I love it. That's my number 1.
Well, all right.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, there you go. Okay, that was Crystal's list.
That's my list.
But let's go for another commercial break here, huh?
Gee, Uncle Charlie, I was hoping we'd have pizza.
God, Uncle Charlie, why don't we ever have eggs? Barbecued eggs.
I tried it, but the eggs keep slipping through the grill. Look, you guys, what do you think this is, a restaurant or something?
Okay, simmer down. Hunt's to the rescue. Rob, for you, Hunt's new pizza flavor ketchup. Yeah, pizza flavor ketchup. For you, Chip, Hunt's new hickory flavored ketchup. Gives everything a swell new barbecue taste. Even eggs. Oh, Charlie, would you pass me the regular bottle of Hunt's? Hey, the hamburger does have pizza flavor, and so do the fries.
Munchin's barbecue.
Boy, ketchup and flavors. I wonder how Hunt's does it.
You want to know? Hunt's gets the flavors in ketchup the same way they get the big tomato in the bottle.
Oh, yeah.
Sheer genius.
Charlie.
Jack Webb and Harry Morgan star as Sergeant Joe Friday and Officer Bill Gannon in the all-true Dragnet 1967.
All right, we're back.
We're back.
And let me get onto my list.
Paul's list.
All right. Now, what do I have here? Okay. So I have 2 honorable mentions. Many Loves of Dobie Gillis, which kind of is like the Top Cat theme.
It is, yeah.
That's what when you were talking about the Top Cat theme, I wanted to sing Dobie!
Yeah.
Once again, dreamy.
Swinging.
Swingy, creamy, dreamy. And Here's Lucy, which ran from 68 to 74.
Oh, yeah.
And I distinctly remember it from the late 70s. I actually remember watching it as a little kid in 1974. And have you seen the opening credits of this? You may have. It's the...
creepy.
The Lucy...
stop
doll.
motion animation.
Like that stop motion doll of her
with the top
in the leotard.
Yeah, don't like that.
When I was 4, I was terrified of that. I loved watching the show. That would come on, and I would run into the other room and like bury my head under the pillow. My mom had to let me know when it was gone. Then I could come back and watch the show.
Yeah, it's creepy looking.
Yeah. Anyway, so on to my list. My number 10. The Dick Van Dyke Show.
Oh, yeah.
Which, now, I think you guys probably agree with this. These lists are the theme songs. It isn't necessarily a list of my favorite shows.
No.
In some cases, it might be a show that I don't really like at all, but I like the theme song. Or there's certain shows that I absolutely love, but I don't necessarily love the theme song, so it's not going to be here, you know?
There are some of them that are my favorites that are from shows I never watched a single episode of. So I've completely separated themes from shows. Yes. Well, I mean, if you think about like Mission Impossible theme. That theme is everywhere, but I never watched the show.
Oh, really?
No.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Well, okay, so the Dick Van Dyke Show, of course, like all these TV themes, is an instrumental, and like all of them, somebody wrote lyrics that they didn't use. Maury Amsterdam.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. But, all right, so coming in at number 9, My Three Sons.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, that's a Frank Duvall thing, but apparently Fred McMurray plays sax on that. And, you listen underneath the chopsticks underneath and the whole thing. Now, that's a show I like it, but I never really watched it that much.
Hated it.
You didn't like it?
I did not like it.
I liked the show, never watched it that much, but the theme song, love it. Okay, number 8. Now, this is a show that I never was into watching, ever. But I started thinking about it when I was making this list, and I was like, wow, I really do like that theme song. It's haunting, and it's kind of nostalgic now. Star Trek.
Yeah.
It definitely has this other time and other place. It almost reminds me of a Joe Meek track.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
You know?
Yeah.
Yes, it does.
Yeah. So, number 7. One that if you don't have on your list, you're wrong. The Munsters! Yeah. Oh, easily one of the coolest TV themes of all time. Yeah. That's kind of almost too badass to be a TV theme.
It is. My problem is that from the first note, I automatically see the whole beginning of it, and I hate the Munsters. I hate that show.
So you can't really, you can't really separate the two.
Like it is surf and it is really good, but I automatically start seeing, and I can't stand that show. I hate it.
That's too bad.
Yeah.
Well, coming up at number 6 with the theme song that's the only theme song that's cooler than that, Hawaii Five-0.
That's such a great theme song.
I don't think I've ever once watched an episode of Hawaii Five-0, but I've seen the intro to that a 1,000 times.
Yeah.
You know, I was never really interested in watching the show, but when that comes on at the beginning, you stop and you watch. And then it gets into the scene, I'm like, anyway, I'm going to go play with my Star Wars action figures.
Yes.
It was a good show.
I mean, and it might even be good. There are certain shows that I really didn't, I just had no interest in as a kid because they seemed too adult, and then I would go back to them later and really be into it. This is one I never went back to, so maybe I would like it if I watched it.
I think you might like it. I liked it. Yeah, it was good.
But number 5, I Dream of Jeannie. Now, I used to watch this show a lot, but it's not really overall a favorite. And in fact, I only just kind of realized how much I liked the TV theme. I didn't always like it. I just kind of played it in my head when I was doing this list. And I was like, no, you know what? This is kind of taking on a certain nostalgia now that I didn't have before, because I saw that show 1,000 times as a kid. And the thing about these old shows and the way those themes are recorded, they have a nostalgic sound just in the sonic quality of the recording. And this has that.
The show worked my nerves.
Apparently, Goffin and King submitted a theme for this show that was never used. Why they wouldn't have used that? But I mean, I guess this is pretty badass. So
have you heard it?
I haven't.
That's what I'd like to hear that.
Well, also, I mean, you might remember this. There was a different season 1 only had an entirely different theme. But I guess it was like a waltz, and they decided they didn't like that, so like they brought this other one in, and that's the classic one. Number 4, the Monkees. Now, this was written by Tommy Boyce and Bobby Hart, who wrote a lot of the early Monkees stuff. Now, the thing about this track is that I complained about it as being part of the Monkees album, because I think it's really terrible as an album opener, and I've said this before, I think it cheapens that album, and people already were kind of thinking that they were this cheesy sort of fabricated thing, and then opening their album with the TV theme song makes it seem like those people are right. But as a TV theme, I fucking love it. Yeah. And it also just takes me back to those days when I was in elementary school, rushing home at lunchtime to catch the Monkees, because it was on right in the noon hour. And so it just, that feeling of walking in and turning on the TV and that theme song being on, it's like,
You got to go home for lunch in elementary school?
I did.
Wow.
Yeah. You saw my neighborhood, and you saw where my school was relative to where I lived. It was only like 3 blocks. So I walked to and from school, and I got to go home. Well, most kids didn't, but for whatever reason, they let me do it.
Well, because they knew you had to watch the Monkees.
Yeah, because I had to watch the Monkees. Well, I explained to them. I said the Monkees are on, and they're only on at noon on weekdays. I can't be here playing kickball.
No,
you gotta go home.
Yeah, no. All right,
playing kickball.
So number 3, the Big Valley.
Oh.
I
don't know this show at all.
Big Valley.
Yeah, it was a Western, and it's like this sweeping cinematic sort of Western theme. That's just.
It has.
Kind of sounds like a theme I would like.
It's to me, it's very Oklahoma-y.
Sort of, yeah. Barbara Stanwyck. Remember, she was like the big star of the show. It would show during the beginning credits. It would show everybody, so and so. I don't remember the name of everybody who's in it, but it always showed her last. And Miss Barbara Stanwyck, and it would have her standing there looking all regal. She was the star of the show.
Yeah.
But this show actually had at least 3 different versions of it. And the specific one that I really love and that put this on the list was the season 3 season. And I feel like when I was growing up, that was always the one that they had on the syndicated reruns. It wasn't until I went back to YouTube, in recent years to look for that theme that I was like, What's this? You go to like season 1 or season 2 episode and go, that's not how I remember it at all.
Right.
Well, yeah, I think they switched it or whatever. I think when they go into syndication, sometimes they have like a uniform theme or version of the intro that they use.
Right.
So, yeah.
That makes sense.
But my number 2, Bewitched.
I love that too.
Yeah. Well, in the pilot of that, they tried using Sinatra's Witchcraft, but they didn't want to pay for it. So,
yeah.
And Hanna-Barbera did the opening credits or the opening
animation.
That's Hanna-Barbera, and it makes sense because when you watch the Flintstones, and they were actually on the Flintstones, Samantha and Darren. Oh. And the characters look the same.
Exactly the same.
Yeah.
Yep.
But my number one, That Girl.
Yeah, That Girl.
Oh, I love the That Girl theme. That is easily my favorite. And, well, this is another one of the shows where it had different, like, at least 3 different versions. And so, I have it written here. See, there were 5 seasons, and seasons 2 through 4 used the version that I like, and the one that I always remember seeing when I was a kid. But the last season, season 5, they actually introduced vocals because there were, of course, lyrics to it that they hadn't up to that point used. Right. But the old Ron Hicklin singers, who did everything on these, sang it. And they're the people who sang Flipper. They did the backing vocals on Happy Days and Laverne and Shirley, and they did the Partridge Family. Like, those early Partridge Family episodes when David Cassidy wasn't always singing? Sometimes it was like this other voice with these other chorus voices behind him singing.
That's them?
That's them. That's the people who sang Flipper, that they sang that Girl's, yeah.
Everything.
Anyway, so yeah. So there you go. That is my list of my favorite TV themes from the 60s.
Nice.
All right.
I like it.
Okay, all right.
$13.
86.
Anything to report?
Top secret. New bright white Pepsodent with zirconium silicate gets teeth bright white.
Gotcha. New Pepsodent with saccharinium choliate gets...
Zirconium clilamate.
Saccharinium choliate.
Saccharinium.
Saccharinium.
New Pepsodent with zirconium silicate gets teeth bright white.
Gotcha.
This is my father. He hangs pictures. Helps Grandpa experiment. Helps Mommy with the cleaning. Where does he get his go? From me. I lend him my Cheerios. Daddy says they're the greatest thing since bat wings. Mommy says they give him protein and stuff. Give your father some go. And he might play catch with you.
Big G, little O. Go with Cheerios.
ABC, where I'll be seeing you and That Girl. I'm Marlo Thomas, and I'd like to invite you to join me every Thursday night.
All right, well, I guess now we're going to hate some TV themes.
Yes, we do. Yes, we're going to hate.
Tom's going to do it.
Okay, so I have 3 runners-up, and I have a worst of.
Okay.
So my number 4, I guess, would be from 1964 to 1970, the theme from Daniel Boone.
Oh.
The theme from
yeah.
Hate it.
Yeah.
It is terrible. My number 3 from 1965, 1 year only, and I had never even heard of this. So I had to actually do like a deep dive to try to find shit that I couldn't stand beyond just the things that I suspected. And I found some shit that I'd never even fucking heard of, shows I never even knew existed. And this one really stood out, and it's called Tobor the Eighth Man.
Oh my God.
I've heard of this, but I don't know anything about it.
You do know it.
I know that.
Oh, God.
I used to watch that show in reruns.
Oh, my God, that theme is so stupid.
Oh, wow, I forgot about that.
My number 2, a show that ran from 1966 to 1968. I'm sorry to everyone out there, but the theme from the Batman TV show gets on my very last goddamn nerve.
Wow, I'm surprised.
Fucking stand that theme.
Wow.
I cannot stand that theme. I've hated that theme since I was a little kid, and that show would come on reruns.
Zowie.
Yeah, I remember one of the most surreal experiences of my life was when I was on tour. I think this might have been 2003. At one point, we were somewhere in Ohio or Indiana or who the hell knows, Illinois, I don't know.
Yeah.
There was some legendary club, and there was this guy apparently that was a fixture hanging out at this venue. He was like, apparently, like the story was he was like an old greaser guy that got into a car accident and messed with his mind. So he was like mentally challenged now. And he would just never stop hanging out at this club. And like what they would do is they would insist that any band that played there play the Batman theme so he could get up on stage and just scream Batman over and over again.
Oh, shit.
What?
Yes.
Where is this?
I can't remember the state or the name of the club because touring for me, everything kind of blurs together at this point.
Yeah.
So, but this is a real thing, and a lot of other bands encountered this too, be playing there and being forced to play the Batman theme the best they could cobble it together. So this guy could get up on stage and just go Batman, Batman, and it was deeply uncomfortable because not only can I not stand that song at all. But then, like, I felt like this guy was just being put on, like, public display for fucking ridicule. And it's, like, not okay, man. It's
I mean,
really
do you think
not
it was
okay.
that, or was it them just kind of, being like, hey, this is one of our regulars, we've known him for years, we love him, we're throwing him a bone?
Like, he clearly loved it, and he loved the fact that the bands did it, so that's why the club would always be like, you gotta do this for this guy. But it was like, it just seemed wrong. It seemed dirty.
There's always a thin line with that kind of stuff, with mentally challenged people, because they could be like, he's like, I want to say that, like, he could really be like, I need to blah, blah, blah,
and that was
they're
his
like,
thing.
And they're like, okay, so we have to do this to satisfy this guy so that he's not screaming at us all the time.
But it just didn't
I totally
seem
get
right.
it.
You're
I
right.
totally
You're
get it.
so right, though. It is a very thin line. And to me, this just felt like it crossed that line.
Yeah.
I was very uncomfortable with this.
Could be. I need to find out about this.
Yeah, I can't remember the state or the venue. I'm so sorry.
No.
But my absolute worst for the 60s is a show that actually ran from 1958 up to 1978. And the reason why I'm saying that is because if you guys did not know about the existence of this show, I did not know about the existence of this show. I am beside myself. It is the theme from the Black and White Minstrel Show.
Oh, yeah.
A show that ran for 20 years on, I think, maybe the BBC or something like that. It was over in the UK.
Oh, wow.
And it's full-on minstrel. Full-on blackface, dancing, mammy, all this crazy shit. And it ran for 20 fucking years.
My only question here is, how is it still not on? You know what I mean? I'm just
honestly,
I'm surprised that they ever let go of it.
I'm surprised that
Guess who has VHS tapes of that?
Well, I'm surprised that people aren't. I'm surprised certain people aren't currently demanding a return to wholesome entertainment like the Black and White Minstrel Show.
Yeah.
But Jesus Christ, I could not believe what I was seeing. This seemed like. Do you guys remember there was some movie that it was like it portrayed like some kind of alternate history, like as though if the South had won the war. And it portrayed like the current state of America if like the South was still the Confederacy. I can't remember the name of the movie, but they had like these fake commercials in there that were like horrifically racist commercials, like portraying like some wholesome Southern Confederate family being racist as fuck. This seemed like it would have been
lynching tomorrow.
Yeah, this seemed like it would have been, or like the commercial they had for Coon Chicken Inn, which was an actual real fucking chicken restaurant. Yeah. But this, when I saw this, I was like, is this a cut scene from that movie? Like, I couldn't believe that this was real. Real and ran for 20 fucking years.
Well, happy to say I missed that one.
Yeah. You don't even need to add in the end chorale. The chorale is...
It's already...
the chorale is heavily implied.
It's in the nucleus of every
The
song.
chorale is literally in the song.
Yeah.
Over to you, Crystal.
Well, first of all, let me say that I had no idea that you would have found that.
You dug deep.
I tried to find some shit.
You must have dug real deep because that is my one and only.
Oh my god, I'm so sorry.
Oh
no.
So I'm not mad. So the only reason I know about that is because there was an old show, like early 80s, that was on PBS that was about American racism and then racism in other countries. And that's how I learned about that show.
That's how you found it. Because I don't think it aired in this country.
It did not air here.
Yeah.
Surprising.
But
yeah.
lucky me, I called my friend Angie, who was a British, what are those students that would come here?
Oh, an exchange student.
Exchange student who I met in junior high school, who turned me on to ska and all that shit, two-tone and everything, and in the 70s. And later on, when I found out about that show, it was after college, I guess, I, emailed her and I was like, Black and White Minstrel Show, can you tell me about this? And she's like, oh, bloody hell, we were not allowed to watch that, blah, 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 my parents, da, 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 da. But I think I know somebody who has VHS tapes of it. So guess what I got to see?
Oh. You actually watched full episodes.
I actually watched it. I watched it. She sent me a tape with 3 episodes on it.
Oh, so all I was able to get through was the intro.
It was mind-boggling. But again, I was not at all surprised that it existed. I was not like, oh my God! I was just like, yeah, sure. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, blah, blah. Yeah. Like, fine, I get it. And for it to be running that long, again, like, British TV is very different from American TV in many different ways. The first one being that their seasons are super short.
Right.
Right.
So you could have 25 seasons in 2 years almost.
Right, because each season is 4 episodes or whatever.
Yeah, you only have 30 episodes and it's been on.
Because they only had 4 channels back then. It was like BBC 1, 2, 3, 4, whatnot. But, and for it to be, I just thought it was really odd that it was, like, why would the British people pick up that football and run with it? Because it's an American thing. Minstrelsy is American.
Yeah, I don't know how that pitch ever got through. Like, I don't understand it.
Yeah. So I saw episodes of it, and I didn't think anybody was going to get that.
I'm so fucking sorry that I went up to you on that.
I'm amazed that you put in the work to get it.
I came in and I bid $1 on Crystal here.
Damn it,
I'm so sorry.
No, it's fine. I'm actually impressed that you dug deep enough to find it.
Yeah.
Because I thought that it was...
No, I put the work in on this.
Yeah.
And I could not believe... And then I showed it, and I'm like watching it, and I'm like... And then I watched the thing again, and I'm just like... And finally I was like, Melissa, I need to show you this. And I turned the computer around, and I'm showing her, and she's just like...
What?
I think her reaction was just like... Come on.
The thing about this, like you were saying, I'm surprised that it was a UK thing and not a US thing. I could easily see that being like what comes on after Lawrence Welk. Like, you watch Lawrence Welk and that would be on after that, and it would run just as long.
After Mitch Miller singers. Whatever.
Or honestly, after Hee Haw. I mean...
if in the South, sure. But in the North, I don't think so. Like, I love Hee Haw. I've said this before. Love Roy Clark. Love Buck Owens. Love that show. And it was a stereotypical thing about hillbillies and I'm picking Anna Grannon. What? All that shit. But it was a really amazing show. The people they had on there and the stuff that they did. And again, like, I'm the furthest thing from a hillbilly that you can find. And I'm sure that a lot of American South people were super offended by that show. But it was universally loved when it ran, Hee Haw.
Yeah. Oh, I thought you were talking about the Black and White Minstrel
show. No, not that. But I'm sure that in certain areas of this country, yes, that they totally could have run that on a local station.
Oh, yeah.
I could see... if they existed in the deep South or whatever, if there was a PBS station, they would have played it.
I'm amazed it never got picked up, considering 20 years in England, and it never got picked up over here. Like 58.
That's one feather in your cap, America.
For that show to have started in 1958, and you would think maybe somebody would have picked that up in the early 60s in this country, but no.
But they didn't. Yeah.
Well, kudos.
Hell of a show. Kudos to you, Tommy.
So sorry.
That's good.
Well, over to you, Paul, then.
Yeah. I guess it's time for mine.
You got something.
And how many do I have? I don't think I have that many. Or do I? I don't remember what I have. Done! I have... I have exactly one. Because, well, two reasons. number one reason, I didn't go in as deep as Tommy did. This was an off the top of my head pick, but aside from finding something like what you found, or what both you guys found, this probably would have been my worst anyway. Green Acres.
Oh.
I've always hated that show. I've always hated that theme. I hate there was so many shows like that. You had Petticoat Junction.
Oh, no. Okay, no.
You like Petticoat Junction?
No,
like
finish. Oh.
Well, just all these sort of hillbilly shows. You had the Beverly Hillbillies, and it's just like, I'm not into it. I'm not here for it.
I did not like the show Petticoat Junction, but I love that theme song.
The theme song for that is okay.
Like,
I just don't like the show.
It's goofy, like
yeah.
chug 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 chug.
Yeah.
Na 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 na. Yeah, it's funny. Petticoat Junction. Na, na. Yeah, it's
there's Uncle Joe. He's moving
kind of slow in the junction. Yeah.
Petticoat Junction.
And it's just so stereotypical, like, you know, all the blonde sisters, like, woo, hanging up laundry, and it's so stupid.
It's stupid.
But I love the theme song, yeah. I understand the other one, yeah. I get it.
So, well, there you go. That's my long list. All right.
That's good.
Go to commercial.
Undercover, out of sight.
A year ago, I wouldn't give 2 pop bottles for a cop. Now look at us.
The Mod Squad.
Idiot maid locked me in a closet.
Well, at least you had a maid.
At least you had a closet.
Link. Bad trip, man.
Hey, look out! From all the transitions of prayers to pills to booze to acid to junk and back again, I still can't remember the words.
Cops. 1 white, 1 black, 1 blonde. The Mod Squad.
Acres.
Oh man,
Mostly
I hate everything. I hate everything about Green Acres.
New York is where I'd rather stay. I'm so allergic smelling hay. It's so stupid. And I kind of got into the show. And reruns, yeah. Arnold the Pig. Oh, I'm sorry, we're back.
All right, yeah, we're back. All right, so thanks everybody for watching. Thank you for watching this new mini-series we have going on. Thank you for subscribing if you have, but if you haven't, maybe consider subscribing. If you do, click the little bell for notifications. And come back next week because we are going to be discussing our favorite TV themes of the 70s.
Yeah, good stuff.
Oh, shit. All right. See you guys then.
Thanks for watching. We'll see you all next week.
Do it. Do it till you're satisfied. Come on and do it. Do it till you're satisfied. Whatever it is.
Of course, this is the wrong episode, but you know.
Can't keep a good song down.
Yeah.
No.
Well, we're ahead of our time.
Yes, that's true.
All right. All right.
Okay.
All right.
Is it all right o'clock?
It is.
All right. It's all right o'clock. Ready to rock. Well, all right.
Howdy. How about y'all watching the Andy Griffith Show next on this station? I appreciate it.